You don't have an eating problem. You have a thinking problem. Hey, what's shaking bacon? My name is Bruno Panucci. I hope you're doing well. So I've had great success so far on the carnivore diet, and the better success that I've had before my weight loss has been with my health. Most of my health conditions have dramatically improved to the point where I'd say they're in complete remission. I have a handful of issues still left, one of which is obesity. I still have some insulin resistance, but that seems to be getting better. I've lost just in the last little while another 40 pounds. So I went down about 160 pounds in total. I hit a weight plateau at about 150, and then I went up a little bit and down a little bit, and then I went up a lot. I went up almost 50 pounds, and then I've just recently lost that weight, and all that doing a strict carnivore diet. And I wasn't worried about the weight when I put it on. The only thing I was worried about was after I put on about that 45 to 50 pounds in about that month and a half or so, maybe 2 months, it was the health problems I had that went along with that. So I knew the weight would come back off, which it has just within a few months. So I wasn't worried about that. But, I was starting to breathe heavier. My pulse was up. My heart rate was up. My blood pressure was up. It just wasn't as good as it could have been. And so those issues were starting to bother me because I'm not at a healthy enough weight to be able to handle something like that. I'm also not at a young enough age where I could bounce back from something like that relatively easily without any potential of harm. So at one point, my weight did become an issue, but the cool thing was I corrected a lot of my health problems while I went up in weight because I was trying to treat some other health conditions, mainly my endocrine problems, and it made a big difference for the positive. So I'm happy that I did that, and I'm back to my starting point, and I'm continuing to lose weight, and I seem to be working past that plateau that I was at before I started. So let's hope that everything keeps on going in that direction. But when most people are starting a carnivore diet, they're so focused on weight loss that they're not paying attention to how the rest of their body is doing. And so this is something we all have to pay attention to. You have to focus on your health. The weight loss will come as a side effect of good health. I've always said that since early on in my videos, probably my first or second video, you could hear me quoting that. Even if your weight doesn't change or you put weight on, you could be getting healthier. So as I put on that 40 or 45 pounds, when I went to a really high fat version of carnivore and I was getting just way more fuel than my body needed, my adrenal gland and my thyroid improved. Now, those are issues I've had easily for 30 years. And it's nice to see that after 30 years, they started to get substantially better. And along with that came this weight loss. When all that started to correct itself and I went back to a regular carnivore, more intuitive way of eating, just eating when I'm hungry and eating whatever carnivore I wanted, and putting a bit of metabolic confusion in there because some days I was hungrier than others. Some days I just naturally had higher fat than others. Some days I just ate really lean or maybe not too much. It all depended on my activity level. And I responded really well to that. So my waistline's been going down. Now that's one marker of health, but you can't go by just the scale. If you're going by the scale, you're going to frustrate yourself, especially if you're a woman following a carnivore diet, because the scale is something that can really throw you off. Guys tend to just lose weight relatively easy because we do carry more lean mass. So some things to pay attention to instead of the scale isn't just your waistline, but how do you feel? How do you feel day to day? Have you even tried doing a carnivore diet? Have you tried doing a strict carnivore diet? And I mean strict carnivore diet. And for more than just a couple weeks at a time, but maybe 3 months. 3 months is a good starting date. 1 month is enough for you to just get over the side effects of adapting to a carnivore diet. It might take 2 or 3 weeks before you start feeling all the benefits. And then as soon as you get there after a month, you're like, okay, I did my month and then I'm done. Well, you might have to give it more time, especially if you're older, say you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s or older, or you have a lot of weight that you need to lose. Now, you have to give your body time to adjust to this new way of eating because it's called the carnivore diet. But it's not looked at as a diet because this is something that's sustainable all on its own. So it's a carnivore way of eating. And the benefit is you lose weight like you're on a diet. And then eventually your body finds its equilibrium and you just balance out. You just balance out and you find your healthy weight. Now, some of those balances might go in plateaus. So I was at 460 pounds before I started a zero carb or carnivore diet. And I leveled off at about 315 pounds for a long time. And I'm starting to push past that. I usually level off when I plateau. I usually plateau at around 315 or 305 or so. And then again, about 265. I usually plateau around 285, 265. And then again, about 240. I notice that always going up and going down. And that's typically a hormone issue. It's not calories or my activity level that's done that. It's typically my hormones, and my hormones are getting better. That's another way you can measure your health is in your blood work. So if your blood work isn't good and you're doing a carnivore diet, you have to stop and think about where you started from. Was it bad before? So even though it's still bad, is it better than it was before? Are 5 of your blood work numbers better at the sacrifice of one of them, say your LDL, getting worse? But if your waistline is going down and your blood pressure's gotten better and your heart rate's better and you're less out of breath, you have better energy, well then what's the problem with your LDL being higher? If you're losing weight and your LDL is getting higher and you're getting all these other good numbers in your blood work, and more importantly, it's trending in that direction. So every 3 months or 6 months, you're getting your blood work done, and most of the numbers are getting better, while say one of them, just once again, we'll stick with LDL, is getting worse. Maybe that's not such an issue, because the big picture is what's important. You have to ask yourself how you're doing mentally. Do you have a better thought process? Are you thinking clearer on this carnivore diet? Lots of people talk about their carnivore diet, how it gets rid of their anxiety and their depression that they've had for years, sometimes to the point where it was crippling. And all of a sudden they're just mentally or physically doing better. And that's reason enough for them to stick to a keto or carnivore diet, or just a high-fat diet in general. But things that most of us can pay attention to if we don't have a history of mental health that we're either not really in tune with or that we never struggled with is, how's our stamina? How's our energy level? So does your energy level balance out more than it did before? Are you not getting tired in the middle of the day? Do you have better stamina throughout the day? So if you do any sort of exercise, you're not really tired afterwards. So say you're still dealing with obesity, like I am. I'm still an overweight guy, but I have energy that just is not, I wouldn't say boundless, but I can do a lot throughout the day and not be physically exhausted throughout the endurance of the activity as well as afterwards. Yeah, I'll get tired afterwards, but it all depends on what I'm doing. If I'm just doing a regular carnivore day and I'm getting enough protein and fat in the day, my stamina is great and I'm not tired or winded afterwards to the point where I need to take a nap. My energy is really good. And after I eat a meal, I don't have the need to take a nap afterwards. I actually just had a really large meal about a half hour ago and my energy is great. I'm not tired at all. It's a nice place to be, because back when I used to have carbohydrates in my diet, I was always tired after a meal, because even after I ate a lot or a marginal amount, I was always getting this sugar crash afterwards. So you have to stop and ask yourself, how are you doing? Are you getting healthier? Stop focusing so much on the weight loss and start trying to find ways to feel healthier. If a regular carnivore diet isn't working for you and your energy's been great, but your weight loss isn't getting anywhere, then maybe you can start tweaking with a carnivore diet. But typically just stick with a regular carnivore diet. Eat till you're satiated, eat fatty meat, and repeat. Eat until you don't want to eat anymore. And then just keep yourself comfortably full. And then when you're hungry again, eat. Don't think, well, it's past 7 o'clock, and give yourself artificial rules when you're starting a carnivore diet. Feed your body. Just feed your body. Your body might even put on a little bit of weight in the beginning, but don't worry, you'll lose it as you get more in tune with your hunger signals. In the beginning, it's more important that you stick with the carnivore diet than it is that you worry about all sorts of nonsense rules that don't apply to you, because you're still going to get all the benefits you need in the first few months of doing a carnivore diet without following any fancy rules of how much fat you should get in a day, how many meals you should get in a day, how much protein should you get in a day, how lean should you eat, should you be eating in these windows, should you be doing time restricted eating, anything like that. You don't need to do all that in the beginning. When you're starting to try and troubleshoot or get more in tune with your health, then you can do that. And the side effect will be losing weight. I hope you find the same benefit to your carnivore diet that a lot of other people out there have gotten by focusing on health, not weight loss. The weight loss will come naturally. So thanks for tuning into the video. I really appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up or subscribe if you can. Hit the little bell notification. Thanks a lot and take care.